go to that website at any point and see a lot of it and check it all out for yourself and kind of track the polls and the trends. I'm here to tell you that not every poll is the same. Some are more scientific than others. Some polls are more, more truthful than others. They're more relevant than others. But polling is a science. A lot of people say, polls. I don't care about stinking polls. Listen, the good folks of the University of Cincinnati, Mr. Tooch Farber, okay, they have been accurately predicting presidential elections and outcomes for many, many years. Polling is a science. It depends on how you do it. It depends on your methodology. And here's what I got to tell you about Donald Trump. I mean, a lot of people are alarmed. A lot of people have hit me up. Nate, this is wrong. Donald Trump can't win. America's going down the wrong way. Donald Trump's presence in the race is inflaming a very dangerous element in our society, the fringe element, right? They're feeling legitimized because now their crazy thoughts, their isolationist thoughts, their racist thoughts, right? They're hearing somebody say it. And he's the Republican front runner. I'm talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump. But there is a big difference, fam. There's a big difference between the type of people who come out for a primary and then the type of people who come out for a general election, okay? The type of people who come out for a Republican primary are not reflective of the diversity of the general electorate. From what I'm reading, Donald Trump has unfavorable numbers that are just off the charts. Okay? Among Hispanics, he's got an 80% unfavorable rating. Among blacks, equally high. It's going to be very difficult for Donald Trump, if he becomes a Republican nominee, to beat, let's say Hillary Clinton wins, who, by the way, big winner yesterday, Super Tuesday. She's got a huge gap between herself and Bernie Sanders. And I'm not that happy about it, quite honestly, because I want to hear more of a debate. I wish that Bernie Sanders were more of a stronger candidate. Here's a question. Why are so many people not feeling Bernie Sanders when he's got Killer Mike stumping for him? What does that mean to you? Now here to introduce Bernie Sanders is Killer Mike. Thank you, Killer Mike. You know, if you ain't hip to what he does, you might even know who he is. Killer Mike, maybe we don't want his endorsement. But tell me, fam, why are there so many black folks? And I think I've got a theory on this, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. Why are so many black people not feeling Bernie Sanders considering the Clinton record? Okay. And yeah, I'm talking about Hillary and her husband, Bill. I put them both together. Anybody that says it's not fair to blame her for what he did is either ignorant, obtuse, or a little bit of both. Because it's really fair. Okay. It's very fair. My theory is that it's the mentality that happens during some elections when people perceive that one candidate is a shoe-in winner. Like, the perception is that Hillary is going to win. It's been that way, well, since she lost to Obama back in 2008. Let's be real here. And that was a very bitter primary at points. Yeah, very bitter. Some say she even played the race card. But we don't want to talk about that, do we? And I believe that a lot of black people, man, black people have that winner mentality. Like, black folks don't want to waste their time or their vote. I mean, damn it, it's hard enough to get black people out to vote, let alone voting for somebody who they believe is not going to win just because of principle. I might do it. You might do it. But I'm here to tell you a lot of black folks might not do that. And then she's getting all the big endorsements. Sabrina Fulton, mother of Trayvon Martin. We all have sympathy for Sabrina Fulton. We all cared about Trayvon Martin. It was tragic. It was tragic. So that's what it looks like. It's going to be very difficult for Donald Trump to win in a general election if these poll numbers hold out to be true. And oh, by the way, folks, I'm not talking about poll numbers coming from the Democrat side. I'm also talking about the internal conversations that are making their way to various websites, in that the Republican hierarchy, the Republican establishment is afraid that Donald Trump can't win, that it'll be another wasted candidacy. We'll have to wait and see. I believe that if Donald Trump is the Republican nominee, he's going to drive people to the polls. His rhetoric is going to drive people straight to the polls. Now, as I said before, not all black people feel the same way. Black people are not a monolith. Our mentality is not all the same. People come from all different perspectives. There are black people that support Donald Trump. And here's another one. Check this out.
And my team will have to tell me where they spoke with some Trump supporters. Let's play what they said.
David Duke and people like that, they come out from under the rocks all the time around this time this year. It got nothing to do with Donald Trump. We all Americans. I think we need to stop with all the racist stuff and the race baiting. Like me and my friend right here, we just met today. We was talking. You know, we got to stop with the racist stuff and this, that. We all Americans, man. And nobody paying David Duke no mind.
I agree. We do need to stop with the racist stuff. I agree 100%. But whom exactly is that brother talking about? Who's he talking to? He's at a Trump rally. He's sitting next to a white dude, which I love. I'll say it again. We have far more in common than the media, that members of the political elite, that the powers that be want us to realize. But who the hell is he talking to? Who is he talking about? I mean, I'm here to tell you folks that even though as a black man behind the MIC, that over the years I've spoken about race many times, and I'm telling you, I've taken a lot of heat inside the city. You know, I've gotten messages of this tone from a lot of people, and I assume that they're from white folks. Like, Nate, I love your show, but I wish you didn't talk about race so much. It just makes me scratch my head like, who the hell, where the hell are these people coming from? I would prefer not to discuss these issues, but you cannot get away from it. It's thrust upon you. And as a member of the media, sometimes you have to react to it. Who are these people? Where did he get these people from? That clip was from MSNBC. Yes, it was. Don't shame me. Yes, it was. I found it on the internet earlier this morning. I was not watching MSNBC. Speaking of which, Melissa Harris Perry strikes back. She's like the Empire. Melissa Harris Perry strikes back. Boom. And she took to Twitter and she roasted her former bosses over at MSNBC. I mean, she put up charts talking about and showing the diversity between her show, the other shows on MSNBC, and the competitors, right? The other competitors in terms of cable news networks. She roasted them in and in. I mean, she went in on them. And essentially she said that the severance talks were breaking down. So she's like, hey, you can't change, you can't buy my silence. And I respect that sister for it. I respect her 100%. Now, I'm not sure what her purpose is, but hey, she got thousands of tweets, retweets, thousands of folks viewed it. And, you know, she's letting the people that support her audience know how she really feels. I respect it. I respect it 100%. I would also like to talk about issues that are going on in the state of Ohio. Okay, I want to spend some time talking about it as well, because right now in the state of Ohio, we're having a couple conversations. One conversation is in the aftermath of yet another tragic school shooting. Could have been more tragic if people had lost their lives, but a very tragic school shooting. And oh, by the way, did you see the news this morning? The young perpetrator is pleading not guilty. And some people are saying that this young man, I believe he's 15 years old, that he should be tried as an adult. Yeah. And he is not black. And people are saying he should be tried as an adult. I'll be honest with you. I don't agree with that. If you are a minor, you should be tried as a minor. Okay? And we live in a world now where it's just about how severe the crime is. Like, if a minor commits what people think is a minor offense, well, then they want to take them to juvenile court. And if a minor, okay, still a minor, 15 years old, 16, that's a minor. Okay? At 16 years old, the brain is not fully developed. It takes many more years after that. At 16 years old, you are still legally a minor. Okay? At 16 years old, your parents are still responsible for you. I don't care how old you might feel. I know these teenagers think they grown when they 14. Hell, my daughter's almost 11, and she thinks she's grown. She thinks she's running something around here. You ain't running nothing, girl. White, black, or whatever. I just want to buck that trend of charging minors as adults, because as a society, we're not getting anything out of it other than more tax dollars locking up folks. That's it. I mean, there's been a trend of charging minors as adults. Everybody knows about it, and it still isn't stopping minors from committing these very serious offenses. But here's a debate in Ohio right now, and it's a debate that we've had many times before, and I want to weigh in, and I want to get your thoughts about it. Nathan Ivey Onliine, broadcasting live from the city of Cincinnati. It goes like this, fam. Now the debate is raging once again as to whether we should allow teachers to be armed in the schools. Now, having worked in a public school building for many years, I'm here to tell you, I think that that is an absolutely bad idea. Now, I don't want to throw any of my former brethren under the table or under the bus, but I got to be honest with you. In my humble opinion, not all teachers have the same strong constitution and mentality. They don't all have it. And I'm talking about teachers that I've dealt with as colleagues. Okay? I'm here to tell you, not all of them have the mental constitution to be trusted to have a firearm in a school, dealing with the stresses of kids with all kind of issues, dealing with their personal lives, dealing with administrators. Okay? That is an absolute bad idea. And as a parent, having dealt with several, shall we say, teachers who will have some damn issues. Let's put it like that. Like, for instance, my daughter, when she's 11, she's almost 11. When she was about 7 or 8 years old, she had a white female teacher who was much older, 55, 60-ish, who was dealing with my daughter like she was a grown woman. Like there was some kind of battle in the classroom with little Buddha. Now, little Buddha is my daughter. Okay, so she got a backbone, and since she was younger, I have been raising her. My wife and I have been raising her to speak her mind, and if she's right, do it in a respectful way. If she's right, to don't back down. My grandfather, the man whom I respected more than any other man in my life, and that, yes, that includes my father, who was in and out of my life. He might be listening. It is what it is. I keep it real. But my grandfather, whom I respected more than any other man in this world, he taught me everything I know. Okay, he's the prototype man that I desire to be. He sat me down one day and he said, "You know what? Kids deserve to be respected just like adults." He told me this. Looked me right in my eye. He said, "Listen, just because people may say they're family doesn't mean that you have to let them disrespect you." This man told me this. He looked me in the eye and he said, "Look," he said, "if my mother doesn't treat you with respect, don't treat you like family, then you don't have to treat her that way." And I've absorbed that. You can hear that in my flow. I live that. You know, I pass that on, and I'm going to pass it on to my children, to my daughter. So that's who little Buddha is, just so you know. And she's been taught to do it in a very respectful way, not to be disrespectful, but she's been taught to hold her own, period. Okay? That's just who she is. And I love it. And yeah, sometimes I got to deal with it. And sometimes I lose a little patience. It is what it is, because like I said, I'm building, I'm raising children who are going to pick up on my work. You know what I'm saying? Okay? When I take my last breath, and the spear, the microphone, falls from my hands, my daughter and my son are going to pick it up and finish the work, okay? And to do that, they have to have a strong constitution. But back to the story, this woman was interacting with my daughter like she was a grown woman. Come to find out, she had depression issues. "Oh, I'm depressed." You depressed? Take your ass home. You shouldn't be working in a school building. I told her that to her face. You know I don't play no games, man. Especially when it comes to my children. You should have saw her face. Her eyes got big, and she didn't say a word. Would you like to know why? Because I was telling the truth. You just can't come here and get a paycheck and treat these kids any old kind of way. I ain't going to stand for it. Not with my kids. It ain't going to happen. And if it does happen, we're going to sit down. I told you what to do before. You sit down, you take your recorder out, and you hold these grown folks accountable to the letter of the laws that they set up. That's what you do. You don't got to scream. You ain't